So
go in on.
let's start with preparation,
Okay.
and then let's go to the next one. Okay, so God is very strategic in how He tells us to prepare. So first and foremost, He gets the man prepared because that's what He did in Genesis. If you ever go back to Genesis, God didn't create Adam and Eve at the same time. He created Adam first, and He told him and He gave him something to do, three things to do in preparation. So the first thing He told him to do was to cultivate, and the word cultivate means to develop. So a man has to begin to develop himself and learn how to develop and sustain and to add value to a relationship. That's what cultivation means. So every day, the relationship, himself, everything has to get better. He has to become very, very good at cultivating, at adding value to his life and value to a relationship. So, what books are you reading? Who's mentoring you as a man as you prepare to
Speak to our men.
take care of a woman? Like, what is your preparation? Um, what is your preparation in doing that? And then the second thing he told me to do was to protect the guard. So now you have to learn how to protect the relationship, protect it from bad habits, from pride, from arrogance, from ego, from selfish demands, from angry outbursts, from disrespectful judgments. You have to protect it, be willing to protect it from all these different things because those weeds will begin to accumulate in your garden of marriage. So God has called every man to protect the garden, to protect the relationship. And then the last thing he told the man to do in preparation was to submit to his ways, to submit to how he wanted the relationship to be ran. So after Adam did all those things, God was like, it's not good for that type of man to be alone. So what does that say? The opposite is also true. A man who does not know how to cultivate a relationship and add value to it. A man who does not or will not protect a relationship. A man who will not submit to God's ways and how to operate and lead and manage a relationship. It's good for him to be alone. Mm. He needs to be alone until he does those three things to prepare for God's daughter. Now, as a woman, the word wife means helper. And the only other word in the Bible that's aligned to helper is the Holy Spirit. So a woman has the same name as the Holy Spirit, helper. So I've shared this with you. A lot of people don't know, but Coretta Scott King, before she passed away, T.D. Jakes interviewed her. And he asked her, why didn't you remarry after Martin passed away? And her response was, well, first of all, Martin was a hard person to come by, and he was in a class all by himself. But when I met him and we began to talk, and he began to tell me about the things that he wanted to do, not just for humanity, but for God, and I began to listen, in my spirit, I knew that I was called to be his wife. And I knew that he wouldn't be able to do those things that he wanted to do without my help. And key word she said is help. So she was willing to help Martin to achieve something for God that only she could help him get to. And as a team, they were able to achieve. He's been on record saying that he didn't think he had it in him to give the I Have a Dream speech. And it was Coretta who encouraged him to go ahead and give that speech that affected millions of people. So it's a woman has to be called. It's a calling for her to be able to accept a position and partner with a man to do something for God that he couldn't do by himself. And a man recognizes that this woman is here to help me because I don't have everything in me that I need in order to do what God is asking me to do. So now it takes the pride out of that. So when you talk about preparation, that's what a man has to do. But as a woman, there's a key word in the Bible that says suitable, and that means appropriate. So every woman has been called to help a certain type of man. Who are you called to help? Well, the only way that you can know that you've been called to help somebody is to know who you are. Because if I need a hammer to nail a nail in a wall, I'm not going to use a screwdriver. That's the wrong tool. I need a different type of help. I need a different type of tool. So a woman has to understand who she is as a person and what God has called her to do. She has to understand her gifts, talents, and abilities. She needs to know what her calling is and how she can complement a man, not complete him, because she's not here to complete anybody. She's here to complement somebody. And it's not for his glory, it's for God's glory. And their relationship is something that they can benefit from, something they can partner and have fun and do amazing things together, but ultimately it's for God's glory. What can we do together as a couple that would give God glory? Because he came up with this idea called marriage, not me. That's preparation.
That's beautiful.
Take the pride out. It's not about pride. It's not about, us trying to build a multi-million-dollar establishment. That's the icing. You can have those goals and aspirations in your marriage, but don't let it supersede what God has called you as a couple to do for him. What is God getting out of this relationship? Why do I feel like as a woman I've been called to be your wife? The same way Coretta Scott King was called to be Martin's wife. It's a calling.
Yeah. So is it safe to say the question is, when we're sitting down with someone, do we feel called to be this person's wife?
That's right.
To partner with this person.
To partner with them in an interdependent relationship. A lot of women have this mindset of being an independent woman, and that works great as a single person. It does not work great. It does not work great as a couple, because God never intended for us to be independent people on the same team. He intended for us to be independent people on the same team working interdependently. And a lot of people don't get that. They're into competition. God is into cooperation.
Wait, repeat that again.
A lot of people are into competition. God is into cooperation. I'm not here to compete with you. I'm here to compliment you and cooperate with you, interact with you in a healthy way, communicate with you, so that we can, again, do something as a team.
Woo. This is good.
Right?
That's
So,
very good.
are you called to be his wife? Have you prayed about it? Have you asked God, hey, God, are you calling me to be married to this man? And then if you ask the man, you need to find out what his purpose is. What do you want to achieve for God and humanity that I can help you with? Because I might not be suited to your vision. And then I hear a lot of women saying, well, what about my vision? What about what I want to do? You know what the middle level in sin is? What I want. Marriage is not about I. Marriage is about us doing something for God. That's the case. It's not about what I want. I. See, you've already missed it. You've already missed marriage because you're thinking about I. You're not thinking about God. You're thinking about the icing and not the cake.